highly anticipated whistleblower testimony tomorrow on Capitol Hill that may make you question if the U.S. has proof that we're not alone in this universe. Monday night on Elizabeth Vargas Reports, investigative journalist Leslie Kean emphasizing the need for transparency on this very story, which we broke exclusively here on NewsNation. And one of those whistleblowers, David Grusch, telling NewsNation the United States government has a secret UFO retrieval program and is currently in possession of alien spacecraft. The others are former Navy Commander David Fravor and then also former Navy pilot Ryan Graves, who we spoke with on the show last week. They both say they have seen UAPs with their own eyes and had near mid-air misses while flying. Let's bring in Harvard astrophysicist Dr. Avi Loeb. Doctor, it's good to see you again. We had you on the show just the other day because you recently collected those meteor fragments from the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, claiming it could be extraterrestrial. As somebody who has found possible proof of alien life, do you think the government will have a hard time debunking tomorrow's testimony?
Well, it all depends on whether there is fire behind the smoke, whether there is indeed evidence, and whether the government is in possession of such materials. If it is, I urge them to release it because it has nothing to do with national security. Anything coming from thousands of light years away does not care about how we split the land on this rock that we call the Earth. It should be knowledge that is shared by all humans on Earth, and that's what science is about. So let's examine the evidence scientifically rather than play games if the government does have those materials.
Yeah, and as you know, I mean, I'm not breaking news to you here by saying there's a lot of skeptical people out there. There are people who are skeptical of what you have to say. And I wanted to pick your brain on this because in a brand new New York Times piece, it called into question some of the claims that you've made about extraterrestrial discoveries. I mean, how do you respond to some of those critics who say that you're, quote, conflating good science with ridiculous sensationalism? What do you say to that?
Well, I find it really strange that people who call themselves scientists are not willing to attend to the evidence. We collected materials. We are now using the best instruments in the world at Harvard University, an electron microscope. We're using mass spectrometers, and we are using imaging devices and X-ray analyzers to find out the nature of these spherules that we collected. We have 420 of them. And now you have people who call themselves scientists who do not have access to those materials. I have them in our laboratories. And they make claims about materials that they have no access to. Whereas we are doing the analysis. We haven't finished the analysis, and they have opinions. And I ask you, how can a scientist have opinions without seeing the evidence? That shows you that it's all completely biased and unsubstantiated, because we are doing the scientific process of studying those materials, yet they have a lot to say in this New York Times article. That's completely contradictory to the method of science.
Yeah, you make great points there, no doubt about it. Lawmakers are touting transparency during tomorrow's hearing. They want the truth. Will the testimony that we hear tomorrow from these three witnesses, will that force the government's hand to provide evidence if, in fact, they do have it somewhere?
It really depends on what Grusch says. If he brings forward names of other people who know what he talked about, if there is any new footage or evidence to substantiate what he says, that would be very important in promoting the cause of the government releasing what it knows about this subject. And we heard Chris Mellon say last night that he also heard from people at the Department of Defense who said exactly the same thing as David Grusch said, that the U.S. government has possession of materials from an extraterrestrial technological origin. So if they do, let's see it.
Just about 30 seconds left, Doctor. You're a Harvard astrophysicist. Most of us watching tomorrow's hearing are not. I mean, how would you advise everyday curious Americans like myself to watch tomorrow? What should be on our radars as we listen in and we watch this thing go live?
It's very simple. It's all about the evidence. If the evidence looks convincing, if whatever he talks about is substantiated by facts, by information that we can hold to, then we should believe it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.